What's going on, guys? TKG Gemini here, bringing you a new fucking video, and this time I'm bringing you a little story about something that happened to me a couple days ago. And the reason I wanted to bring it to you is I wanted to make this vlog just to have a video up there, and this story was actually pretty funny and kind of ignorant on my part. So basically, if you guys aren't aware, I'm a high school senior this year, and school is almost over. If you know anything about high school seniors, towards the end of the year they get to go to high school prom. I didn't go to prom, I don't do dances, I don't do public events, I don't like being in large crowds of people, so I didn't go to that. The story isn't about prom. You might be thinking that, but it's not. This is about what comes after prom, which is senior skip day. I wasn't aware that the day after prom is senior skip day. I knew it was a thing, but it just hadn't crossed my mind because I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about graduation. So I go to school Monday, which was 2 days ago. And I sit down at my table after I get my breakfast, and I got there early, so there was like nobody there. So I sit down, I'm eating, and my friend Curtis comes in, and he sits down at my table, and he looks pissed off, and he never looks pissed. He just kind of looks bored and spaced out, like he's got nothing better to do but to be there. But even that's boring to him. He sits down and he looks upset. I'm like, yo, Curtis, what's wrong? And he's like, you know, today's senior skip day, yeah? I was like, no, I didn't know that. And I was like, are you for real? And he was like, yeah, why do you think nobody's here? And it dawned on me as I was looking around that it was almost time to go to class, and none of my friends who were seniors were there, and none of the other seniors were in the building. It just hadn't dawned on me. I thought they just weren't showing up. And so he tells me this, and I'm like, well, fuck that, dude. I'm about to go up to the office and call my mom and tell her to come fucking get me, because I'm not going to stay here for senior skip day. It's like a rite of passage that you have to fucking skip that day, even though it counts against you. And for the record, in case any of you don't know, I go to an alternative school, which is like the main high school, and then they've got like a little smaller school for the students who don't do well in the big school. And I go to the alternative school, which is like 60 students, and since it's such a small school, you can only miss 5 days. And their semesters are only 9 weeks instead of 18. So you can only miss 5 days per semester. I had 3 days missed. So when I went to the office and I went up and I called my mom and I was like, hey, come get me. And she was like, why? And I said, it's senior skip day. I don't want to be here. There's no point. She was like, you know, that's going to be 4 days. You're not going to be exempt from the last couple days, right? I told her, yeah. So she was like, all right, I'll be there in a minute. So I go and I sit down in class, and my teacher is talking to me, and she's like, where's everybody? And I was like, you know, it's senior skip day, right? She was like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, that's why nobody's here, because everybody skipped it. Senior skip day. It's the day after prom. And I was like, I'm about to leave too. I just called my mom. She's coming to get me. So she told me to go sit up in the office, or that I could, and I wasn't about to just sit in class. So I went up to the office and I sat down, and I waited a good like 10 to 20 minutes waiting for my mom to show up. And then my counselor comes through and she's like, hey, do you have a white car? And I'm like, yeah. Is it a Chevy Cavalier? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, that's my mom then. So I was like, I was waiting for her to come into the office to sign me out. I got up, I signed out, and I left. But the stupid thing was, I had no idea it was senior skip day. And for seniors especially, any day that you can miss for any reason, you take that bitch. You don't hesitate. So when I found out there was a day I could miss, I was like, why the fuck am I even here? But I ended up getting sick, if you could tell from my voice. I ended up getting sick because I came home, and the condition that my mom would come get me was I would help her clean. And our house, it was really dusty because my sister just moved in here with us, and she brought all of her things from where she lived, and a lot of it was really dusty, and it ended up fucking up my allergies. So I ended up getting sick for it, but it was definitely worth it. So make sure whenever you guys get to be seniors, or you know, whatever, that you make sure you find out when all that shit happens, because you don't want to look like a dumbass like me, especially in front of friends who knew about it and you didn't. So that's the story I got for you guys. It wasn't as funny as you guys probably expected when I said it's gonna be a funny story, but guess what? It was funny to me because I ended up looking like a fucking retard, and that doesn't happen often. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be sure to subscribe to the main channel. I'll put the link in the description below. But like I said, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and keep fucking watching, guys. I'm out. Hope you enjoy.